If you have type 2 diabetes, you need to get a CGM. All right, the disclaimer on this is I'm not a doctor, medical professional, nutrition, dietitian. I don't know anything about diabetes except for my own diabetes, and I'm really good at it. My diabetes, not yours, mine. Before you take any advice that you hear on this podcast or any other podcast for that matter, talk to your medical team. Include them in your decisions and make sure that you're making the right ones for your diabetic journey. Okay? I am going to attempt to not get too preachy on this one. I'm very passionate about constant glucose monitors. That's what a CGM is. That's what we call it in the biz. Anyway, but I'm going to try to not be too preachy because I understand why. I kind of understand why some people don't get them. It makes me infuriated. It makes me very upset, especially when it's a friend or someone who has reached out and is asking for diabetic help and wants to, really wants to beat it and has all the great motivation in the world, but they refuse to get a constant glucose monitor. It makes me, sorry, having some coffee. It makes me really mad. It really does. All right, CGM, constant glucose monitor. When you first get type 2 diabetes, you can check your blood sugar. You can go in every 3 months. So this is what some people do. They go in every 3 months and see whether or not what they're doing works. Okay. Because your doctor says, hey, you got to come in and we check your fasting. Don't forget, we're doing fasting labs, so don't eat anything, 12 hours prior to it. And we're going to take some blood and we're going to check it and see where your fasting glucose is at. And then we're going to check your A1C. And then that's, for me, that wasn't good enough. Every 3 months and just float for 3 months, hoping that what I was doing was right. No. You can also prick your finger, right? You got the little thing, you get the little tester. Mine is a Rely On, not a sponsor. But you check that, and some rule of thumb: hey, check it 2 hours after you eat, and see where you're at, whether you're back down to normal. Because if you're starting to be insulin sensitive versus insulin resistant, your blood sugar will have got down after that. Okay, it's fine, but it hurts, right? One time I had a bad lancet or needle, whatever, right? I pricked my fingers 15 times before I finally got enough blood to check it. I was so frustrated. This was before I got the CGM. So a constant glucose monitor, there's a bunch of different brands, Libre, Dexcom. I personally use the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus, which is their new one. Not a sponsor. It's just the one that my doctor gave me. I don't know if it's better than the Dexcom or not. Mine goes on I even forget what arm it's on. It goes on the back of my arm, right? It's a little disc. It's about that big. It shoves in there. The Dexcom, I think, is a little bit bigger, and there's a bunch of other ones. But I think the Dexcom is the one you can actually put on your stomach, too, if you don't want people to see it. But I don't know. Shoving something in my stomach just seems a lot more ew than putting something on the back of my arm, right? That's just for me. But what does it do? It constantly monitors your blood sugar. Is it in your bloodstream? No, it's not in your bloodstream. It's checking. There's tissue behind your arm and in your stomach, right? In just the fat or whatever, just the tissue. And it's checking that. It's about 15 minutes behind. But it's constantly checking your blood sugar by sending a signal I don't even know how often it repeats, quite a bit. And it sends it to your phone, and it tells you exactly where your blood sugar's at. All right. Is it as accurate as a blood test? No, it's not. And for me, I think it's different for everybody. I'm going to do a video where I actually check my blood sugar multiple times per day for 7 days while also using the CGM and just see how far inaccurate it really is. But it's delayed. It's about 15 minutes behind. You still need to prick your finger at times because in my opinion, my experience with the CGM is it's a little bit wonky. That's a medical term for not quite as accurate the first day and last day that you use it. So mine lasts for 15 days. The first day, it's usually a little wonky, so I'll check my finger just to make sure everything's cool. And then the last day, it seems like it starts getting a little bit wonky too, right? Wonky, yes. Inaccurate. But overall, it's absolutely amazing, right? I mean, it keeps track of your What's your average glucose over a week, right? What's your average glucose over 30 days? What's your average glucose over 90 days, right? I know for mine, when my average glucose over 90 days is like 112 to 108, that means I'm going to have a really good A1C. That means I'm going to be around 5.2, right? And I'm hoping to get to 5. That's what my goal is. Very difficult, right? And sometimes you'll see your blood sugar go up in the morning on your monitor because it's monitoring all the time. And you're like, what the hell is going on? Well, it's your liver. It's the dawn phenomenon. It's waking you up and releasing some glucose and blood sugar to wake you up a little bit because your brain needs it, and it's okay, right? But the thing I like about it is that it is 100% tells you how what you're doing is affecting your diabetes, right? And I get real passionate about it, and I get real shut down when people are like, I don't want to have that on my body. Okay, then prick your finger every 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes for the rest of your life, and then you'll be just as accurate. By the way, that's way more expensive. Sometimes cost is, I see with different insurance, cost is a little bit different. So, like for mine, it's $25 a month for 2 monitors. So $25, 2 monitors, 15 days, I move on, and it's the best $25 that I spend. Right? I don't go to Starbucks anymore. I'm saving money, but if you want to hope your diabetes magically gets better, don't get one. If you only want to talk about your diabetes every 3 months, then don't get one of these. If you want to take control of your diabetes, get one. This thing is a game changer. And the nice part is that they're going to get better. There's going to be more over the counter ones. They're going to get cheaper. There's a whole industry. There's, I don't know, what is it, 30 million people with diabetes, and there's way more with pre-diabetes, and some athletes are even taking it just to monitor their blood sugar, and it's going to become the norm. We're going to see a lot of people with stuff stuck in them, and it's okay. I don't worry about it at all. I've never ripped one out. I've never had an issue with it being, getting waterlogged. I did get in one and got infected one time because I was out working out so much. I had a little bit, but it's fine. It doesn't hurt. And it's constantly running, and it's an eye opener. You will see the repercussions of everything you do. And this is probably the reason that people don't want to get in, right? We all like living in oblivion when it comes to our bodies at times, right? We're like, oh man, I ate like crap on Fridays. So I'm just going to eat like crap all weekend. I'll get back on it on Monday, right? Well, with the constant glucose monitor, it's constantly telling you what you do. It really is. You eat something, you see what it does to your blood sugar, right? You have that a little bit extra pasta or whatever, you're going to see what it does. You're going to see how long it takes for your blood sugar to go from ding up here to back down to base level to normal, whatever your normal is, right? You work out, you're going to see what it does to your blood sugar, right? You start working on a consistent basis. You're like, wait a second, my numbers are getting better. You get a good night's sleep. You're going to see what your numbers look like. You don't get a good night's sleep, or you get a cold. Like I just had a cold. My number's crazy. It was the first time I had a cold since I had type 2 diabetes. Not great, right? It's like, what the hell is going on? It's my cold, and I researched a little bit. My body's fighting off all sorts of stuff, and I end up that my constant glucose monitor doesn't work as well. Now, how it works is it has a graph that's going, and then you can see arrows, right? So if the arrow's going straight up, you just put quite a bit of food in that was high glycemic index, and so it's sending things up. Or you see a down arrow, that means that you're burning a lot of glucose, or you're up high, and your pancreas released a whole bunch of insulin and go down. And this is for type 2 diabetes. Type 1, I'm sure that you guys have been on this train for a long time, and good for you. I remember I asked my doctor for one. They didn't offer it up. Right. Their plan for me was, here's a bunch of medicine. We'll check your blood sugar. Well, you should watch your carbs, whatever that means. Start exercising again. Okay. How much? I don't know. And then every 3 months we'll check it and we'll adjust your medicine accordingly. Well, after I don't know, 6 weeks, I had another meeting with somebody, and I said, what about these constant glucose monitors? And they're like, oh, you want a constant glucose? You want one for free? You want to try it out? I'm like, no, I don't want one for free. I want a prescription. I said, listen, What I want this. I want to constantly be checking my blood sugar so that I know exactly what I'm changing in my body and what it does to my blood sugar. Because there's a graph; it's constantly going. You can wake up in the morning and see how did I do last night. Um, what did I find out when I got a constant glucose monitor that you didn't know? I can't eat grapes. Now, I am a whole food, plant-based, low-fat diet person, right? That's the diet that works the best for me to manage my diabetes. If you're a low-carb person, totally get it. It's fine, right? Just don't eat like an American. That's the only thing you can't do. But I found out that I can't eat grapes. I had 7 grapes and shot my blood sugar through the roof. Now, I've gotten a lot more insulin sensitive since then. That was like, you know, 3 or 4 months in or whatever. And so I can probably eat a couple grapes if I wanted to. No, I don't know. I also found out that I do better with intermittent fasting. Interesting. I would, if I didn't have a constant glucose monitor, I would know none of these things, right? Intermittent fasting is the process of not eating purposely for a certain amount of time, right? I do 16 hours. So from 7 p.m. until 11 a.m. the next morning, I don't eat anything. Is that 16 hours? I think it is. Anyway, I also found out, and this was really interesting to me, is that if I eat before a long run, and I'm a half marathoner, I like running half marathons on Sundays. I go run 6 to 10 miles and sometimes longer. But if I eat in the morning, which I was doing, I was getting up and I was having an apple and a banana and being like, okay, I got enough glycogen in me. I don't want to be dipping too low on the long run. I would crash. 3, 4 miles in, crash, and my monitor's going off because my blood sugar is too low. Yeah, it has alarms in it too when it's too high and too low. Anyway, it was driving me crazy. So then I start crashing. So then I start taking, these sport beans, which are basically just little sugar bombs. I'm trying to even things out, and I'm up, I'm down, and I'm having these terrible runs, right? Well, I found out one weekend, and by accident, I think the best thing is you find out by accident, right? But anyway, I found out by accident. I went for a long run. I get up there and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to eat. What's my blood sugar at? It was, I think it was 111 right then, according to my monitor. My monitor runs high for me, right? It's not accurate. It's not 100%. When I check, if it's 111 and I check my blood sugar, it's probably 98. So it runs a few ticks above. It's mine. My actual blood sugar is always below what my CGM says in every case that I've ever tested it. But I get up there and I'm like 111, right? Something like that. I'm like, okay, so, well, I said, here's what I'm going to do. Because I was planning on going on a 7-mile run. It was an out and back, 3.5 miles out, 3.5 miles back. I'm like, that doesn't seem safe since I don't have any food. I do have my little sport beans, but here's what I'm going to try to do. Just for today, I'm going to do a 2-mile loop. I'm going to keep doing it for 7.5 miles. And let's see what my blood sugar does. And guess what my blood sugar did? It didn't do anything. It didn't do a damn thing. And I checked it every single mile. I started at 111. After a mile, I was at like 110. Okay. I ran again. The next mile, it was about 110 and 110. And then it went down to 108. And then I think I finished up at like 98 or something like that. So it did start decreasing, but there was the difference was that there was never any down arrow. It was just a nice gradual drop like it's supposed to. Oh, I had no idea that for me personally, I can't eat before I go running. I burn too much glycogen, right? And if I shoot my body full of blood sugar and my body starts burning it too much, my pancreas is going to kick into and then just right down. It's because metabolically I got something wrong with me. There's a reason I got type 2 diabetes, right? Or did anyway. And even though I am in complete remission now, so it's been 6 months since I've had any medicine for type 2 diabetes. My A1C is currently 5.2, which is fantastic. In fact, it's better than my wife's. I don't think she listens to this podcast. Hopefully not. Babe, I love you. Anyway, but 5.3, hers is fine. But anyway, I'm basically in 100%. I've reversed my diabetes, complete remission. I will never not wear a CGM. Ever. I did have plans at times to like save money. Like, okay, I'm gonna wear it the first 2 weeks of the month, and then I'll take 2 weeks off, and then I'll wear it. And then every time though I planned on taking a 2 week period off, I would have like a half marathon or a long run or an eating situation where I really wanted to keep track of what was happening. Like I got forced to eat out of my intermittent fasting set phase, and what I found out was it's $25 a month. Just wear it all the time. I'll never not wear it. Right. You have to check your blood sugar with a finger prick like every 10 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, whatever, 24 hours a day to be even close as accurate. I know my blood sugar, my average blood sugar for the last 7 days, 30 days, 90 days. I have no surprises. So when we get to testing day, like my next one's coming up in 6 months, right? And we're going to test my A1C. I already know what it is. It already calculates it on here, right? And I know that mine runs high. So I have already made notes in here. I know that if my GMI, they call it in your constant glucose monitor, at least Freestyle does. If mine is 5.8 or 5.9, I'm going to be right around 5 with my A1C, right? So why in the world doesn't everyone wear one? Why, right? And this drives me nuts because I don't understand. But so I said, well, let's go through some scenarios. Cost. Okay, mine is $25 per month with insurance. That's nothing. If you're buying it if you don't have insurance, if it's gonna cost you like $200 or $300 a month, I totally get that. That could be one reason. All right. And I'm sure that there'll be some help coming soon, and everyone's gonna have one of these. I hope. It'd be great. Be awesome. Embarrassment. I think that is a big reason why people don't wear one. So, have you ever been to the gym or been out in public and you see someone with a plastic disc shoved on the back of their arm and you're like, what in the heck is that for? It's like robotic, right? Well, people who know will be like, oh, that person probably has diabetes, right? So if you see it, maybe you'll be judged. Maybe you're scared of needles. It doesn't hurt. I promise you. I'm a big pansy. It doesn't hurt. Um, do you think people are going to judge you? I can tell you your friends won't judge you. Your family won't judge you. I won't judge you. People who care about you will not judge you. If anyone else does, what do you care? Who cares? Screw them. If I see someone with a constant glucose monitor, they got either the Dexcom or whatever on the back of their arm, or I see it, I give them the nod, like, "What's up?" And I'll show mine, right? I'll lift my arm up and be like, "Yeah, me too, man. What's up? Cool." The truth is, a lot of people do not want to know what is actually happening to their blood sugar when they eat the wrong things and they don't work out. That's what I feel is the main cause behind it, right? It's a little word called accountability. And diabetics are awesome at lying to themselves. We really are. We're amazing at it, right? We're amazing at forgetting what we've eaten and forgetting how long it's been since we worked out. And, there's a shame that comes with that too. But the constant glucose monitor is a reality check at all times. It never goes away. You can always pull it up. I share mine with my endocrinologist. She asked if she could have access. And I said, yeah, knock yourself out. I don't care. I said, don't call me on a weekend. If it goes too high, I might have ate something I wasn't supposed to. She's like, no. We just want to see you're doing so good with your diabetes. We really want to take a look at what your monitor looked like and things like that. But I believe 100% the reason that people don't want to have a constant glucose monitor is they don't want to be checked all the time. They don't want to be held accountable all the time. They don't want to have a thing on their phone that tells them exactly what they've been doing. CGMs are for the serious, right? If only 6% of people are capable of reversing everyone's capable of reversing it in some way, shape, or form. But if 6% of people actually reverse type 2 diabetes, that means that CGMs are for the serious, for the people that are like, I'm all in. One of the first things you can do to get all in is to get a constant glucose monitor, start wearing it, and it will show you exactly what you're doing right. And of course, what you're doing wrong. When people ask me, how did you beat diabetes because they want to, I tell them to get a CGM. If they won't, I can't help them. I don't think I could help someone beat type 2 diabetes, reverse type 2 diabetes without the help of a CGM. I really don't think I could. I don't think anyone's that dedicated that they can make all the right choices without some sort of accountability. Knowledge is power. Own it. Get an effing CGM. That's my advice anyway. I hope your A1C is down, and I hope you have an awesome day.